Welcome to the Fear and Greed Afternoon Report for Wednesday the 8th of June 2022. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon we bring you the 5 news items that happened today that you need to know about. Let's jump into it. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 finished 0.4% higher today at 7,121 points. That follows yesterday's 1.5% sell-off after the Reserve Bank lifted the official cash rate by 50 basis points. The banks were the big losers. Investors are fearful that aggressive rate increases will lead to a spike in bad debts and higher funding costs. Bendigo and Adelaide Bank was the worst of the top 200 today, down 7%. Westpac was off 6%, Commonwealth Bank fell 4.4%, National Australia Bank closed 4% lower, while ANZ was down 2.3%. Away from the banks, it actually wasn't too bad a day. BHP, Fortescue Metals and Rio Tinto all jumped more than 2%. Woodside Energy was up 5.6% and Santos rose 3.4% as oil prices hit a new 2-month high. The big corporate news today was IFM Investors taking nearly 15% of toll road group Atlas Arteria. It's expected to make a full bid, and that pushed Atlas's share price up 16%. APA Group, one of the few remaining infrastructure companies on the bourse, jumped 4.6% today. Story number 2. The second best performer on the bourse today was building materials group Boral. Its share price jumped 15% after the group hired a new CEO. Vic Bansal, who formerly ran Cleanaway before leaving over allegations about bullying and harassment and now runs steel group Infrabuild, will take over at Boral. He'll replace Zlatko Tolochevsky, who's been CEO for less than 2 years. Boral, of course, is majority owned by Kerry Stokes' businesses. It's been a chronic underperformer, but investors certainly like the announcement today. Story number 3. The Biden administration has unveiled a $6 billion plan to buy enriched uranium. It wants to wean the US off Russian imports of the nuclear reactor fuel, according to Bloomberg. That's helped the local uranium companies, with Paladin Energy jumping 13% today. Others to do well were Boss Energy, which jumped 12%, Deep Yellow, which rose 11%, and Peninsula Energy, which soared 20%. The US proposal aims to push the development of more domestic enrichment and other steps needed to turn uranium into reactor fuel. It would create a government buyer directly purchasing enriched uranium, including the type used in a new breed of advanced reactors now under development. Story number 4. REA Group Chief Executive Owen Wilson thinks all the negative talk about the property market is overblown. REA is still getting 12 million people coming to its site every month, and the number of potential buyers is at a 5-year high. While there have been dips in property prices in some areas, prices are still up 14% over the past year and 25% since the pandemic began. And finally, story number 5. The World Bank has provided new forecasts for the global economy, and it's not good. The pandemic rebound seems to be over, even though we aren't over the pandemic. The World Bank expects the global economy to expand by 2.9% this year, about half last year's pace. It also warns that the risk of stagflation, whereby prices rise but growth slows, is increasing. It expects subdued global growth for most of the current decade due to weak investment around most of the world. That's it for the afternoon report for Wednesday, the 8th of June, 2022. Michael Thompson and I will be back tomorrow morning for the Thursday edition of Fear and Greed. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.